Good afternoon. Today is Thursday, January 31st, and this is Clahs. We are back in session today. I'm here live at Big Rock Golf and Pub. We are brought to you by Coachella Sports and Entertainment Stadium Authority. Looking over the 18th green today on this Thursday, we're crowning some champions in high school sports. Yesterday and today, actually, just to recap some of those scores from the DEL girls soccer. Palm Desert winning 5-0. They get the top seed in the DEL, so they have a share of that DEL title, and they do get the first place seed for that. La Quinta did beat Palm Springs 2-0, so they do get a share of the DEL title as well. And they get the second place seeding because of the head-to-head matchup with Palm Desert. Other scores for girls soccer in DEL: Xavier Prep 3, Shadow Hills 1. DEL boys soccer, Rancho Mirage beating Palm Desert 2-1, and that gives Rancho Mirage a claim of the title for a share of it. And we do have a big game coming up tonight in DEL boys soccer for the other share of that title. In other news, Xavier Prep beats Shadow Hills 3-2, and they pull off their first win in the DEL at the end of the season, so congrats to them. Good job and good stuff on that. Let's recap actually our conference winners for the winter. Like I said, for DEL, Desert Empire girls soccer, Palm Desert and La Quinta do have the share, with Palm Desert having the top seed. DVL girls soccer, Cathedral City undefeated with that top spot, looking to close out the season undefeated in conference play tonight. DVL men's soccer, Desert Mirage does have that top spot with a 12-1 conference record. DEL men's soccer, like I mentioned, Rancho Mirage with their 7-3 record do hold on to a share of that DEL title. With the game tonight, Palm Springs versus La Quinta, it will be for the other share of that title for that 7-3 record. DVL girls basketball, first place, Cathedral City undefeated in conference play. They will be looking also to close out their season undefeated in conference play tonight. So if you want to go see some amazing girls basketball, I would definitely go check that out. These girls are on a mission for sure. DVL men's basketball, Indio undefeated. They have the top spot also, and they will be looking to close out undefeated in conference as well. DEL girls basketball, Desert Empire basketball, Palm Desert with a win will have the outright title for the DEL. They do get a share of it with a loss and La Quinta win. DEL men's basketball, Palm Springs does get it outright with a win tonight. Big game for them. Go Big Red. Or they still will get a share of it with a loss. And there is a few teams, a couple actually, that are hoping that they do falter a little bit, so they might be able to get a share of that title. And we'll go over that a little bit later. Other news also, not to be forgotten, girls water polo. Yes, girls water polo. Yes, in California we do play water polo in the wintertime. Girls La Quinta takes home the first Desert Empire League title, so congrats to them. They had a big win last night, just completely splashed the other team out of the water. Yeah, you like that? I like that one too. So congrats to them on that. So let's get into some segments. We got a couple of new segments here today. I'm going to try to keep hydrated as much as possible. Okay, so for this first segment, it's called Pick Up the Sticks, Billy. And this is about kids and video games and how I actually think that they are beneficial. And I want to say first and foremost, This one's kind of funny. I've never seen a kid get into trouble being at home in his room playing in his video games until he passes out at like 1 o'clock in the morning, right? So understand, like, if all he does really is just hang out at home and play video games, and like he gets his work done and plays sports and does all that, and that's like the worst of your problems, like be happy that that's all that kid wants to do, okay? Because like it's tough growing up and having the peer pressure of friends. You want to go out, you want to do this, you might get into trouble, you might not, right? So if somebody enjoys staying at home playing video games, let them. I want to first get into the games today are definitely not the same as even if I grew up with, right? We don't have the same plumber going down tubes and crushing turtles and playing Pong and this and that. And Tecmo Bowl with Bo Jackson running up and down sidelines trying to score touchdowns because that's how you're supposed to do it. And you're trying to throw a pass, so you run all the way to the opposite end zone to try to throw it 90 yards. Yeah, you don't do that anymore, right? So these games have become so realistic that you can actually use these and learn from these games. And one of the things that I've noticed that it's even been difficult for me, I've been trying to keep up with these games, but I can't. It's having the hand-eye coordination and reaction time to do some of these certain things. So like, I mean, even if they're playing just like a shooting game, right, you got to be able to aim this, point, move, run this, jump up and down. It's all of these things that help with the hand-eye finger reaction and trying to understand what's going on at the same exact time. When it comes to sports games, the sports games are so realistic. I swear sometimes you could walk in and it would be like you're watching an actual game. But they're so realistic that they can help teach basic concepts for athletes. And like one of the examples is like for basketball. Say you're playing a basketball game and you have no idea that there's a 3 seconds in the key rule, or like you're not allowed to take the ball back court once you cross the front court, right? So it's all these rules that you can like kind of pick up at a super young age, so that when you're playing in like an organized league, these kids already understand like some of these rules. Another example, and one we actually we like to joke around with as a coaching staff, is like we tell our kids, you got to play some more Madden, man. Like you got to like just figure out some of these basic things, like understanding coverages and stuff, because they make it so simple that like you can pick a play for your defense and it'll show you exactly where the guy is supposed to be in coverage, and they are actually true to like basic cover 3, cover 4, cover 2 things, and you can do all these things and show them all these things and show them, and it shows you how certain concepts can beat those coverages, which is really cool. And you have to react just the same way as if you were playing in a game. You get 2.5 seconds in the pocket or you're going to get sacked. It's actually really cool. And one of the other things too that you can learn from these games is the ability to learn problem-solving skills and improvising, right? Being able to do things on the fly. One of the huge games that are out right now is it's called Fortnite, right? The Battle Royale. 100 people jump in and it's the battle to be the last person standing, right? Well, you have to problem solve and figure out how you're going to become that last person at the end, and you have to almost improvise when you're in a battle with someone, of being able to shoot and when to build and all of these things. Like you have to be able to work around all of these different factors, and I think that's great because as a quarterback, some of the best are the best improvisers in the game. They are able to take the system, which is like the video game, and improvise within the context of that. Same thing as a football player, and which is a perfect segue to my next segment, which is tips from a young prep coach. And my tip for today is that I find athletes are more engaged or learn better when you can relate when you can relate it to something they know, right? So if we're trying to explain a concept, it does me no good if I know all the pro terms and I'm using them to try to explain and try to coach the kid up, and he's just looking at me like he has like a blank stare and has no idea what I'm saying. Because honestly, and I was the same too as a young high school athlete trying to learn, I always just kind of agreed with my coach, whether I understood or not, because it was either one, I didn't want to upset him, or two, I didn't want to have to like make us go over it again, or just three, I just wanted him to think that I knew what he was talking about, right? So you have to kind of understand, if I have to keep explaining the same thing and there's no retention by the player, then what's the point? Right? So put it into terms that they can understand and they can visualize. And one of those examples that I actually like to use, and not to, we'll bring Fortnite back into it because it's the most relatable game right now for these young kids. And it's teaching by doing your job and how doing your job is successful for the team, right? Okay, so for Fortnite, and this is an example of me and my friends, right? Shout out to the pizza party, Brody and Ben, every Friday night. So we'll play, right? And you have to squad up. There's four people, and you squad up, and you go in, and you're trying to be the last team at the end, right? Well, so one of my, I'm not going to name him, one of them likes to just go out and do his own thing and go loot and find the best guns, weapons, and stuff he can find all the time, right? And that kind of puts you at a detriment, because if you're in a fight and it's 4 versus just 2 people, you're going to die. If you're by yourself, you're going to die, right? So you have to coordinate and strategize as a team, stick together and work together to get to that final goal at the end, right? So I think it's interesting, like when coaches joke about the video games and stuff, and yeah, it's you don't want them on it all day, every day, 24/7, 365, but they do have some good qualities that you can't really pick up unless you're doing those things so quick and you're reacting to these things and your eyes are seeing them, right? And so I think that is it's pretty cool, and it's something that we need to implement as far as entertainment for our young athletes, and maybe as a learning tool. And so we are going to take a quick recess here. When we do come back, I am going to go over some of the DEL boys basketball team MVPs who I believe were standouts for their teams. So when we come back, this is Clahs. Good afternoon, and we are back in class, and I am here live at Big Rock Golf and Pub, brought to you by Coachella Sports and Entertainment Stadium Authority. Big Rock Golf and Pub has a lot of stuff going on. They got a lot of stuff going on in the evenings every week, every day, just about good stuff. I believe Industry Night is tonight, so if you're in the music or hospitality industry, you want to come out and have some fun, come on down to Big Rock Golf and Pub. This Sunday also is Super Bowl Sunday, Super Bowl 53. Big Rock Golf and Pub is having the game on here. They'll be on every single TV screen you can imagine. Seating starts at noon, and it is $25 per seat. So if you have nowhere to go, come on down and check out the game. Other news, we are going to go over, since the DEL boys basketball, it has been hot this year. I'm going to give you my actual MVPs for each team, who I think has stood out the most for their squads. And, I mean, it's my opinion, so I could care less if you think I'm right or wrong. La Quinta, the first for La Quinta, senior forward Henry Rodriguez. To me, in the game, so I've seen every single Xavier Prep home game, and so I've seen every single one of these players come in. And anytime that you have a game-winning shot on the line and you go to a certain player for that shot, that guy has to be your glue guy for your team and the guy that you believe can get the job done for you. And with ice in his veins, hits it like it was nobody's business, two hands right in his face. So when you got a guy like that can do those things, I truly believe that he does more than what the stats would show on any given night. Second for me, Rancho Mirage. Rancho Mirage, they platoon their players so much and they sub so much that you can't, there's not really one certain specific player that really stands out, in my opinion. They play very good overall basketball. But one player for me that when he was in the game, his plays did stand out, and his baseline moves and turnaround jumpers that he was making in the game were shots that I didn't think like a high school kid knew. And then when I looked and I saw he was a sophomore, I was like, oh, okay, well now this kid's got my attention. Grant Kelly, sophomore guard from Rancho Mirage, was making some big shots for his team, trying to keep him in the game the other night against Xavier Prep. Had the lead 50-44, but just couldn't take care of business. But I think that kid's got a bright future in DEL basketball for sure. Next, for Xavier Prep, this one's a contentious one because I've seen a lot of games this year from Xavier Prep. A lot of good young players have been playing, but one guy consistently, day in and day out, came in, made plays, and almost like to take over sometimes. And that player for me is Joshua Clark. I didn't know much about Josh at the beginning of the year, and he let me know who he was throughout the entire year, making three-pointers from the corner, being able to take a guy one-on-one to the basket, be able to make his foul shots. Some of those things are huge for a team, and he's somebody that they can lean on when they need a bucket for sure. Josh has been lights out, and I can't wait to see what he's going to do tonight against Shadow Hills and also in the future. My next player for Palm Desert would be Devin Lopez, the combo guard forward. He just makes so many plays defensively. He creates on the offensive end by his passing and being able to drive to the hoop and being able to do all of the little things that don't normally show up on a stat sheet. And I think that's huge for a team like Palm Desert to have that senior leadership and to be able to understand that general on the court will put you in the best positions to win a game. My next for Shadow Hills. Shadow is another team that I feel like they're so they're so well organized as a team, and they all contribute almost equally, to, in my opinion, that they don't really have one guy that they lean on the most, but they have a bunch of guys that do a bunch of great things. But the other night, one of the kids that was keeping him in the game and that was help creating plays the most for his team against Palm Springs to help pull out that win and now possibly put them in a spot for a share of a title is Dominic Escobar, the small forward junior from Shadow Hills. Was able to create for other guys by driving, kicking. There was a lot of open threes that he created, also and one opportunities late in the game. It's proof day in and day out. When you got a guy that late in the game will not crumble, he will not falter under the pressure, and he wants to actually rise and be the one to take the shot or be the one to make the play, that there's nothing more you can ask for. And that guy the other night did exactly so for his team. And I'm excited to be able to get another closer look tonight to see what he does for his squad tonight. And finally, for Palm Springs, who I think this guy to me is one of the best, if not the best players in the DEL, in the Desert Empire League. It's Damian King, senior from Palm Springs. Just to me, watching him play, that guy can go get a bucket whenever he wants. And I think whenever he touches the ball, he can do the things that he needs to do to score whenever he chooses, whether it's getting to the basket and drawing a foul, or whether it's creating space for an open jumper, or whether it's off pick and roll, being able to hit a three-pointer. The guy does things that, shoot on a basketball court are very difficult, and he makes them look very, very easy. And so those are my DEL boys basketball team MVPs. And so it's kind of a quick show today. We are going to go over the schedule for tonight of games. This would be we're wrapping up conference play, so this is the last hurrah for some of these teams. So if you want to go ahead and check them out tonight, go ahead and do that for yourself. Let's see. Let's start with we're going to start with girls basketball. Let's start with girls basketball for tonight. Cathedral City, like I said, is trying to finish off the DVL undefeated. They will be playing against Desert Mirage. Coachella is playing Banning. Palm Desert is playing Rancho Mirage. Palm Springs will be at La Quinta. Desert Hot Springs will be at Indio. And Shadow Hills will be at Xavier Prep. And that is for the girls basketball for tonight. Let's take a look at boys soccer. We do have that La Quinta at Palm Springs game that is basically for the other share of the DEL title. 5 o'clock. If you want to go check it out, Ralph Watts Stadium. It's going to be a great one. Other games, Coachella Valley at Banning, Cathedral City at Desert Mirage, Indio at Desert Hot Springs. And those are your boys soccer games for tonight. Girls soccer, Shadow Hills at Xavier Prep, Desert Mirage at Cathedral City, Banning at Coachella, and Desert Hot Springs at Indio. And last but not least, we do have boys basketball for tonight. I will be at the Xavier Prep Shadow Hills game. It is at Shadow Hills, and we will be covering the game, doing play-by-play, color commentary, the whole entire works. It's the after-school program of Clahs. If you like to, if that's what you're into, and you want to check out the game, it's going to be a great basketball game. Shadow Hills is on a 3-game winning streak, looking to get a possible share of that DEL title. If Palm Springs does falter in their game. So come on down, and we'll see you there tonight for sure. Other games, Coachella will be at Banning. Cathedral City will be at Desert Mirage. Palm Desert will be at Rancho Mirage. La Quinta will be at Palm Springs. That game is at 6:30. So if you want to go see Palm Springs try to clinch their outright DEL title, go ahead and check that one out. Indio at Desert Hot Springs. And that will conclude our scores for tonight. Yeah, it's been a good week so far for prep sports, and I'm excited to see all of these athletes competing at such a high level, and which ones are rising to the top to try to get into the playoffs. And it's when it's your last year, when you're a senior and you're starting to realize that the games that you have left are dwindling, and you technically don't have any more guaranteed games left in your entire sports career, it can be kind of shocking, and it can kind of open your eyes and make you understand, like, man, I really do cherish this and I don't want it to end, so I'm going to do whatever it takes to try to keep my season going as long as possible. And it's really fun to watch these kids compete, because it's for the passion, it's for the love, and it's for the their friends right next to them, the friends in the crowd, the friends they go to school with, man. It's so much fun when everybody is excited for what you're doing on the court or on the field. And I'm excited to be able to see that firsthand and call the game. This will be my first game calling a game, and it's basketball, and I love basketball, and it's going to be awesome. So if you want to go ahead and check that out, we will have that on Facebook Live for you. We also will be there, so if you want to say hey, hang out with us for a little bit before the game or after, go ahead. The game is at 6:30 at Shadow Hills, and we'll be there. And so on behalf of Clahs and the Coachella Sports and Entertainment Stadium Authority, I am Michael Carls, and class is dismissed.